Have you ever seen all the flags of all the nations that line the walkway of the United Nations in New York City? Well, one of our trainers sees this scene nearly every day. Elias works at the United Nations, but more than that, he is called by God to plant churches, specifically in Zimbabwe, but in other places around the world.
It's really amazing. So Elias Mabaso lives in the New York City metro region, works for the national interests of Zimbabwe at the United Nations, and because of this has a great platform, not only in New York, but in his homeland of Zimbabwe. He grew up in the Free Methodist Church, and to this day has strong ties with the Free Methodist leadership of Zimbabwe. And let me tell you, Elias is desperately praying and working to see a revival across his homeland. He wants to see the kingdom of Jesus reach all people everywhere in Zimbabwe. But his problem is that even though he has a great platform and great time and resources in some senses, he doesn't know or didn't know how to get started with unleashing a kingdom movement of multiplication in his homeland.
And so the Lord connected him with CDN, and he attended an encounter weekend where during that time, the Lord just spoke to him in a deep, personal, profound way, where he realized that the Lord would use him to bring these tools and resources back to Zimbabwe. And from there, he has great faith to see saturation church planting take place. And the idea there is to see churches planted in every town and village, every creative space and place through simple tools and through the rhythm of the multiplication flywheel. And so God is at work in his life.
It's amazing. Elias launched a training center in the capital city of Harare in Zimbabwe. They're training church planters. They're training national leaders. Even on his own dime, Elias is paying for cellular data for some of the leaders and church planters to train them in church development network tools like Discovery Bible Study and prayer resourcing and, of course, church multiplication. And let me tell you, the fruits are coming. The kingdom is growing.
And so we thank God for Elias. We thank the Lord for his faith and his faithfulness. I want to invite you to join us in prayer because it's your prayers that help further this work. In fact, a great way to actively pray is to join us at Launchpad Prayer. We gather the first Monday of every month and over a Zoom call, and we pray together, asking the Lord to bless the work of this multiplication movement. Second, would you give to the work of the Church Development Network? When you give, it multiplies our impact. And third, we want to invite you to attend an encounter weekend. In fact, if God's stirring your heart, and even in the smallest of ways, an encounter weekend is a space where you can awaken to the call of God in your life or in the lives of people around you that you bring with you to the encounter. You just never know what the Lord will do. And for some of you, God is stirring your heart to see a movement of church multiplication happen in your community, or perhaps in a place you're connected with around the world. We would love to help you establish a training center that plants churches in creative spaces and places in your community and around the world. We're a network. We partner together. We're grateful for your partnership, and we would love to see what we can do together. Because listen, what we're all about is we're all about planting churches, and together
we plant churches.